Canada invests nearly $5 million in Indigenous-led projects across Northern Ontario. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Bonazzo. Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu, who's also the minister responsible for FedNor, announced today that 10 Indigenous clean energy projects are getting money from the federal agency. That includes several initiatives here in the Northwest. Joey Langdon tells us more about them.
10 Indigenous-led projects across Northern Ontario are getting a total of more than $4.7 million from FedNor. They include $450,000 for Bingwi Nayashi Anishinabek, also known as Sandpoint First Nation, for a biomass heating system, $135,000 for a new ice packing facility in Rocky Bay for the local fishing industry, and more than $183,000 for a feasibility study for a data center in Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation.
We had an idea of a data center, 10 years ago, and it was an idea to how can we get the youth, involved in the IT economy, and when there's some holdbacks to that was infrastructure, energy, telecom infrastructure. So now those are coming into place. It's a good time to look at the pre-feasibility of that and the feasibility.
I'm actually encouraged by a First Nation stepping up to say that they want to be the proponents for a data center. Look, there's a commitment, obviously, for all of these projects to do so with the respect of the land and of the water. And I think it's an unavoidable reality that data centers are growing in their number, as I think many people are increasingly spending a lot of time online, using digital tools, using AI tools. Almost everyone I speak to these days is using some form of AI in their day-to-day work.
Hajdu says funding these projects help advance reconciliation and support Indigenous economic growth.
And what I'm so proud about as the Minister of FedNor is that FedNor does a very thorough job in helping especially small and medium-sized businesses navigate through the process of applying for money through FedNor.
FedNor is also creating a new funding stream, the Northern Ontario Indigenous Clean Energy Initiative, or NOICE, to support even more Indigenous projects. Joey Langdon, TBT News.
Kenora OPP have now officially identified human remains that were discovered last Wednesday as those of a murdered resident who went missing nearly 6 weeks ago. The body of 21-year-old Mackay Pelly Scott was found in Wassagamas Bay First Nation area. 2 people have already been charged in connection with his murder. Well, one person has been sent to hospital and another is in police custody after a shooting in Rocky Bay First Nation this morning. The severity of the victim's injuries is still unknown. Anishinabek police have released few details about the incident other than to say that the call came in after 11 o'clock this morning and that there's no ongoing threat to the public. Well, the province is investing nearly $62 million to upgrade roadways to the Ring of Fire, and that's good news for the town of Geraldton, as one of those roadways, Highway 584, just happens to serve as the town's main street. The portion of the highway that runs through Geraldton is even named Main Street. It's home to most of the town's businesses, including a department store, restaurants, and a bank. It's narrow and bumpy. Mayor of the wider Greenstone area, Jamie McPherson, notes the unevenness of the road is due to a large amount of groundwater underneath it. But it's set to undergo some major construction now that Ontario has designated it as an access road to the Ring of Fire.
Well, as you drive up and down Main Street, you'll recognize that it is very irregular. The goal is to get the water table low enough that we don't have that frost heaving and that the road will last for many years. And being the start of the road up to the First Nation communities that don't have road access, there's going to be a lot of traffic going right through the middle of the Geraldton ward, and we need to have a road and a road base that's solid enough to handle the big trucks that are going to be coming. There will be the ability for businesses to put up good signage to have people stop, and the businesses, there's parking right in front on the road in front of the businesses, so certainly the desire is to have people stop as they go through.
The town is looking for contractors to do the work, and construction on Geraldton's Main Street is expected to begin in the spring. The construction timeline for the revamped Water Street bus terminal has been pushed back once again. It now isn't expected to be finished until February. The city says that's because the delivery of key construction materials has been delayed. The $3.2 million renovations include a larger indoor space for passengers, an outdoor canopy to help protect them from the elements, better lighting and signage, and accessibility upgrades. The work was initially supposed to be finished last month. Then in October, transit officials said it would be ready in time for Christmas. Now it's been delayed once again. The city says it's working to add an additional temporary shelter on Cumberland Street to support passengers during the winter months. With the holidays fast approaching, two local organizations that help feed the homeless are getting some major support when they need it most. Local LiUNA officials dropped off thousands of dollars worth of food to Grace Place and Do Drop In today to make sure people have meals this season. Jessica Clement has the story.
Members of LiUNA Local 607 made 2 stops on Friday morning, bringing by donations to help feed people during the holiday season. The first stop was Grace Place, where they brought around $5,000 worth of food, including 30 turkeys.
When they said to me that on Thanksgiving they couldn't afford any turkeys, that's when I said, you know what, you make a list, whatever you want, and we'll bring it here.
This donation from LiUNA Local 607 is an absolutely huge blessing.
Yes.
The variety of products that they brought, the turkeys, we'll be able to have a Christmas dinner next week for our clientele.
LiUNA also donated $2,500 to help Grace Place seat more people. The support comes at a critical time as the days get colder. Grace Place serves around 1,000 meals every week, and the need keeps growing.
We're getting more elderly people in for our lunch drop-in. Plus, a lot of families are coming in with the kids. Sometimes this is the only meal they get.
The second stop of the day was at the Do Drop In, where they dropped off 50 turkeys for the Soup Kitchen's upcoming Christmas dinner.
I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty speechless right now. We could not do what we do every day without community support, and LiUNA Local have been longtime supporters of us. They give back tremendously to our community, and they're an asset for us, and we're very, very grateful for the support.
Operations Manager Sloan Monahan says they serve over 400 people a day, and he expects that number to hold steady during the holidays. Along with the food, LiUNA also donated $7,000, which will help the Do Drop In feed people for a whole week.
One thing we offer to our community is that you can sponsor a hot meal for $500, or you could sponsor a full day for $1,000, which includes our bag lunches. They decided they're going to sponsor a whole week, which is absolutely unbelievable. So the first week in January is going to be completely sponsored by LiUNA Local.
It's the thing about Northwestern Ontario and Thunder Bay, they always seem to come through for people in need in our community, and I think it's a great thing. And I know at LiUNA 607 we're going to continue to keep doing this type of thing in our community.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Officials with Canadian Blood Services say the local facility needs to double its number of plasma donors in order to meet the demand. The Plasma Donation Center opened in April. Manager Natalie Collings says they're grateful for every donor who walks through the door, some of whom come back time and time again. But it's nowhere near enough to satisfy the need for the life-saving material.
So there are people in our community that we do know who do receive the products that we make. And a lot of them are children, a lot of them are your family members, my family members, and it's very sad to know that there's a strong possibility that at some point we may not be able to satisfy the needs of people in our community.
I think it's important that we all give a bit of ourselves to other people for medicines and for burn victims and stuff. This plasma is well used. It's important to give out.
Canada relies on other countries for about 70% of plasma-based medications. Plasma donation works by extracting proteins from the blood of a donor. The process takes about an hour to an hour and a half. The Perro Centre for Women's Enterprise marked a major milestone last night as it celebrated its 30-year anniversary. The gala at the Superior Inn brought out community leaders, partners, and supporters to reflect on Perro's impact over the last 3 decades. Since it started in 1995, the organization has helped more than 30,000 women start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Last night's event also focused on the future and how they'll continue supporting women business owners over the next 30 years. The gala honored 9 entrepreneurs, recognizing 3 standout leaders from each decade.
So I joined PARO in January of 2002. So I was involved, learned so much about leadership, community development, kindness, compassion, working with people, which has really served me well today.
We started as a peer lending organization. We are now the largest and strongest women-centered peer lending network in North America. So that is extremely gratifying.
Thunder Bay-born Ron Lalonde is now a two-time Jeopardy champion after another big win last night.
A two-day Jeopardy champion. Your total now $35,601 American. Congratulations.
Lalonde successfully extended his winning streak, consistently widening his lead throughout the game by correctly answering key clues and capitalizing on daily doubles. As you heard, he's now won more than $35,000 on the show. He returns to the Jeopardy stage once again this evening. All right, well, let's turn our attention to the weather now. And Fiona, not a bad day out there temperature-wise. We have seen some snow really start to drift in, though, over the past, well, I guess a little less than 24 hours or so.
Yeah, we were expecting a little bit more of it last night, but instead of being hit with it and then clearing out, it's just kind of extended its stay. Just like a guest. A little bit longer, but not heavy, heavy snow, but just enough that you were aware of it most of the day. And it did not get quite as cold as we were originally expecting. We had a low of -11, wind chills of -16, which is pretty much 3 degrees above normal for this time of year. Daytime high, well, it's around normal for the most part, -5 and a wind chill of -10, and that's with winds from the southwest starting out at about 5 kilometers per hour, and then at times gusting up to 21 this afternoon. Now, the system that moved through, the brunt of it has passed us, but we've still got little bits of pop-up light precipitation throughout the region to the west, so it's just kind of lingering in the region. And the temperatures have been fluctuating pretty quickly. It's been moving through cool temperatures for about 12 hours, and then it warms up for another 12, and then cools down again. We can see to the northwest in Red Lake, well, it's kind of starting to cool down again. They saw a high of -12. They're currently at -15, and wind chills are hovering around -21 at this hour. Similar temperatures in Pickle Lake, Kenora, Sioux Lookout, also sitting at -13, as is Dryden. Fort Francis started out the day at -11, warmed up to -7, and now they're back down to -11 and a wind chill of -18. Basically cloudy to the west. North of Lake Superior, well, they've been holding very steady today between -9 and -10 since before the crack of dawn. And the snow has also been quite steady. Wind chills are hovering around -16. It's actually a little bit cooler on the other side of the lake at Armstrong. Along the North Shore, -7 in Nipigon, -5 in Marathon, -3 in Wawa. They too have been holding steady, as has Sault Ste. Marie. It's only been fluctuating between -7 and -6 all day. They had snow in the morning, had a brief break this afternoon, and in the last hour it has started to snow again, and those flurries will continue tonight. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we've got about a 60% chance of a little bit more of that dusting moving through in the evening hours, and after that it will be clearing. So with the snow being around and winds being very, very light, this evening would probably be a good time to get out, do any clearing of your walkway, your steps, and maybe go for a walk this evening. Because after the snow ends and it starts to clear out, we're going to drop down to a low of -17, wind chills of -24, and it gets colder from there. We've got lots of sunshine for the weekend. That's the good news. So hopefully you like the sunny skies on Saturday and Sunday, because it's going to be very cold with temperatures well below normal. And unfortunately, wind chills are going to be flirting with the -20 mark during the day. Probably even colder, obviously, at night. So, Ryan, you know, it's once again, you have to pick your poison. You got the sunshine or you can have the heat. And, you know, personally, at this time of year, I'm going to lean more towards the sunshine. I need brightness. The days are shorter, so I'll aim for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I like sunshine. I'm going to cling to that and hope that warm my soul.
Just bundle up.
If I'm going to head outside. Yes. All right. Thanks a lot, Fiona.